Our boy Kang Min-hoo spent 20 years saving another world after being reverse isekai'd against his will. Now he's back on Earth to finally retire, only to realize the planet is being overrun by monsters. All because the local heroes are absolute amateurs. So now, this level 999 veteran has to do it all over again and show these newbies why. Right after he finishes his game, of course. Alright, so get this. Our boy has been stuck in another world for 20 years. But today is the day he's finally going to defeat the big bad monster and save the world. No big deal. The monster in question, a giant, winged, lion gorilla demon thing, takes a look at our hero. And instead of, a villainous monologue, he's like, "You endured that too?" Truly befitting of the hero. Wait, is he impressed? The Demon King tries to psych him out, pointing to the hero's party, the Saintess, the Mage, and the Knight, all looking like they're about to kick the bucket. But our hero, Lee Hyun-seok, just gives him a tired look and says, "Really now? You don't look so hot yourself." Ooh, sick burn. Predictably, the Demon King does not take criticism well. He screams, "How insolent!" and starts cooking up a big old ball of purple magic. You can't be serious, we just did this last video. Is that another hollow purple? Anyways, Lee Hyun-seok just braces himself, probably thinking about what he's gonna have for dinner after this. Lee Hyun-seok lunges forward, spear glowing, right as the Demon King swipes with his giant monster claws. Kaboom! The Demon King flexes, crackling with angry purple lightning. "If you won't submit," he growls, "I'll tear you to pieces." If I had a nickel for every time a final boss said that, I could probably buy this whole kingdom. He keeps going. Of course, he keeps going. "This land is a kingdom forged by my teeth and claws." Okay, buddy, we get it. You're edgy. You built your house out of bones. Congratulations. And what's our hero's reaction to this passionate, kingdom-building speech? A close-up reveals the most "I am so done with this" face you have ever seen. The fight resumes with a flurry of motion. Purple and white lights everywhere, like the part of the anime fight where the animators get to save a little money. But now it's our hero's turn to get serious. He starts glowing with a fiery golden aura. He looks at the Demon King, his face set, and says the four most powerful words in any shonen series. "Let's end this." With a final grunt of effort, Lee Hyun-seok puts all of his power into one final, blindingly bright attack. And because it's the rules, his ultimate attack has to have a ridiculously cool name. So, what is it? Dragon Slayer Wave? Cosmic Burst? Nope, it's Paradox Flame. I don't know what it means, but it sounds impressive. As the Paradox Flame tears through the battlefield, our boy Hyun-seok is already on the move, dodging debris like he's just late for a train. 20 years of this, you get pretty good at multitasking. The entire battlefield is pure chaos. We've got explosions, energy blasts, people flying through the air. Just another Tuesday in Fantasyland. Suddenly, the Demon King retaliates with a swipe of his gigantic claws. Hyun-seok isn't giving up. He barely blocks the attack, but it slashes his left eye in the process. The Demon King, seeing his chance, starts to gloat. "An attack that soft," he sneers, "won't leave even a scratch." Famous last words. But wait. Lee Hyun-seok adjusts his grip on his weapon. He looks up, a small, knowing smirk on his face. "Soft, you say?" Oh, he's got a Uno reverse card. In a flash, he twists his spear, the blade now inches from the Demon King's face. The tables have completely turned, and now it's Hyun-seok's turn to deliver the one-liner. "It's more than enough to cut down that arrogance of yours." Get him! Suddenly, a strange, swirling red energy pattern appears on the Demon King's chest. It's not an explosion. It looks more like a symbol, burning itself into his very being. That's the Paradox Flame, baby. It doesn't just burn you, it deletes you. The Demon King looks down at his chest in horror as the fiery sigil spreads. He's not just wounded, he's being unmade, erased from existence. Lee Hyun-seok just stands back, watching the final boss of this 20-year-long nightmare finally get deleted. As the Demon King fades away, he whispers his last, shocked words. "To think, there was a human in this world who could stand against me." Hyun-seok just tightens his grip, knuckles white. The fight is over, but the conversation isn't. As the Demon King is literally disintegrating, Hyun-suk decides it's time for a little clarification. "Let me say this again," he says, looking completely exhausted. "I'm like you people. I'm not from this world." He's an isekai protagonist, and he wants a refund. The Demon King, ever the drama queen, calls it nonsense. He rambles on about how his body will be absorbed into the land, and one day, yeah, we've all heard the villain respawn speech. Get on with it. But then, something clicks. The Demon King's eyes go wide. That defiant speech just kind of stops. Uh-oh. It's the look of a man who just realized he left chicken in the freezer while his mom came home. "Am I being erased?" the Demon King asks. Our boy Hyun-suk, who's been watching this whole existential crisis unfold, chimes in. "You're having trouble regenerating, aren't you?" The most deadpan, "I told you so" in history. Time for the classic villain monologue reversal. The hero explanation. Hyun-suk explains his special ability, the paradox flame. He says unlike normal flames that burn oxygen, it uses abstract concepts as fuel, like Amaterasu on crack. It burns your hopes and dreams, apparently. He continues, explaining that the Demon King's hobby of resurrecting himself over the centuries is now officially over. Because what's burning right now is his very existence. Let that sink in. He's not killing him. He is deleting him from the cosmic hard drive. Straight Control, Alt, Delete. The Demon King, in his final moments, has one last card to play. He says even though he's being erased, our guy will never be remembered as the hero who saved the world. Ouch, talk about a sore loser. And why is that? Because, according to the big flaming demon, his so-called companions are actually just waiting for him to die. The camera pans over to the party, looking real shady in the distance. The plot thickens. So the Demon King drops this massive betrayal bomb, expecting a full-blown meltdown. And Lee Hyun-suk's response? A calm, simple, "I know." The Demon King is shook. I'm shook. Are you shook? The Saintess immediately tries to do damage control. "Sir Hero, you mustn't believe the words of a monster." But Hyun-suk is already 5 steps ahead. He starts with her, explaining how she pretended to love him, but secretly despised him for being an outsider. And suddenly, her face doesn't look so saintly anymore. We get a close-up on her "oh crap, he knows" face. He explains that her whole seduction routine was just a plan, to make him hesitate when it came time for the Purge the Hero part of the program. Cold. He stands with his back to them, the weight of this knowledge just hanging in the air. He even says he would hesitate to Chris Breezy her when all of this is over. Then, the ultimate power move. He doesn't even turn around. He just looks over his shoulder, a shadow covering his face, and asks, "Saintess, am I wrong? Damn, these hoes ain't loyal." And he's not done. The other two, he says, still not looking at them, are the same. He's going to expose all of them. Next up, the Knight. Turns out, he was given a national treasure by the Emperor. The mission? To eliminate the hero after he killed the monster. The Knight looks absolutely terrified that he knows. The cowardly Emperor was afraid our boy would take his throne. How did you know? Because it's always the Emperor. And finally, the Mage, who apparently loves human experimentation and hates our hero, simply because he opposes the slavery system. Well, at least his motivations are straightforwardly evil. So after laying out all their dirty laundry, he drops the final bombshell. The fact that they would all kill him after the Demon King was dead is something he's known for the past 5 years. The Demon King, who is somehow still not fully deleted, is utterly confused. With all that power, he asks, why didn't Hyun-suk just destroy this world that turned its blades against him? A very, very good question. And Lee Hyun-suk, looking more tired than any man has ever looked, gives his simple, honest answer. I didn't do that because I wanted to go home. That's it. That's the whole reason. And this is what finally breaks the Demon King. All that power, all that suffering, not for revenge, not for justice, but for a bus ticket home? You want to go home? Even the embodiment of evil can't comprehend it. And with that, we get a hard cut to a time before all the monsters and magic and betrayal. Flashback time. We're going to 2005, baby. We see him. A normal 30-year-old office worker, just sitting at his desk, until some being calling itself a goddess shows up and yeets him into another dimension. The classic chosen hero, please save this world routine. He even looks confused in the memory. We've all heard the stories, right? An ordinary person gets isekai'd, finds out they're the chosen one, and becomes a huge success. Yeah, this isn't one of those stories. However, his voiceover continues, the other world I arrived in was an absolute, unmitigated disaster from the get-go. A horror show of death and suffering that he desperately wanted to escape. There was just one problem. There was only one way out. He tried everything to get back to Earth, but there was only one way out, one objective on his quest list. Defeat the monsters and save the world. It's always a fetch quest, isn't it? And so, for 20 long years, he trained to fight monsters. We see him walking through a frozen wasteland, past the skull of some poor creature. That's a long time to hold a grudge. And a spear. Here's a perfect example of why this world sucks. He shows up to a village, and the guards immediately get on his case. Even if you are the hero, you can't just go off on your own, they say, pointing at what he's carrying. These guys are one bad day away from becoming mall cops. He explains that he rescued a child from the village and needs to get in. He's holding this poor, injured kid in his arms, and his face just screams, I am seconds away from throwing you two through this wall. And the guard's response to this heroic act? Ha, it's obviously about to die. You should have just left it. One of them mutters about it being a waste of medicine. Wow. Just wow. And these are the people he's supposed to be saving. Hyun-suk's inner monologue puts it perfectly. This world, which chose to abandon the wounded rather than rescue them, was unbelievably cruel. Understatement of the century. But the cruelty wasn't even the worst part. The more serious problem is illustrated by a man screaming his head off. What could be worse than a world full of jerks, you ask? Oh, it's the medieval levels of medicine and hygiene. We see a so-called doctor about to amputate a guy's hand for an infection, shouting, "Hold him down." Their solution to a paper cut is probably a guillotine. But wait, there's more. He's talking to a group of priests now. They ask how he rescued a child captured by monsters. And his narration says there was something even more horrifying here. And in the background, we see people being burned at the stake. Of course, haven't we tried this before somewhere else? Anyways, the lead priest explains that the child only survived because a demon has taken root within it. So their brilliant plan is to exorcise the demon themselves. I've got a bad feeling about what exorcise means in this context. The flashback ends. We're back in the present, right after the Demon King's defeat. After enduring 20 years of that, he's finally completed the mission. He screams at the sky, "Keep your promise!" The man wants his paycheck. And right on cue, the heavens part and a single beam of light shines down. His backstabbing companions can only stare up in awe and terror. The manager has arrived. And descending from the light is a goddess, the very same one who sent him here. "You have endured much, Sir Hero," she says with a gentle smile. "You have defeated the monster. Yeah, no thanks to you. Now pay up." Hyun-suk isn't having any of her pleasantries. He immediately starts rattling off the fine print of their contract. He reminds her that once the monster was caught, all his experiences, memories, and even his soul would be perfectly preserved. He's basically reading her the terms and conditions she made him sign. "And you'd send me back to Earth." He finishes, pointing directly at her. The goddess just keeps smiling, like a customer service rep who knows there's a catch. She asks him, "Do you truly not like this world?" She points out he's gained enough power to be a threat even to her, and if he returns to Earth, all his achievements will be gone. "Lady, did you not see the flashback? This place is a dumpster fire." He sees right through her. Cut it with the act. He tells her she's just relieved he's leaving as promised because this world no longer has a need for a monster, after all. He's calling himself a monster. The self-awareness is real. Her smile finally falters. She looks down, almost sadly. "Will you truly not regret this?" she asks, one last time. Spoiler alert, he will not. His response is to drop his weapon, a symbolic end to his role as a hero. He says there is only one thing he desires, to return to the world I once knew. He really hit the "I have no enemies." The goddess finally relents with a simple, "Very well." A wave of pure, unadulterated relief washes over Lee Hyun-suk's face. After 20 years, this is it. It's finally time to go home. He's bathed in a brilliant golden light, being beamed up Scotty style. But, as always, there's a catch. The goddess drops some fine print he must have missed. Because your physical body has already perished on Earth, she says, all casual-like, I will place your soul into a new vessel. So, less of a return and more of a hostile takeover. Got it. Lee Hyun-suk, to his credit, is taking this surprisingly well. He just stares her down and asks the million-dollar question. Whose body am I going into? The goddess gets all mysterious. I cannot explain in detail, but it is a body fated for a wretched end. Oh good, a fixer-upper, my favorite. However, she adds, I am certain you will be able to survive. And our hero, having reached his absolute limit for caring, basically says whatever. As long as I can return to Earth, I don't care. After 20 years in hell, what's one more wretched end? His consciousness fades, and the next thing he sees is a bar of soap? Is this heaven? Did he get sent to a Bath and Body Works? He wakes up, lying in a bed. Not a pile of straw, not a cold stone floor, but an actual, modern bed. He looks around the sunlit room, his mind reeling. Am I back? And there it is, spelled out for us. On Earth, in year 2025, hero Lee Hyun-suk entered deep inside the body of civilian Yoo Chan-suk. Welcome home, sort of. Meet the new boss, same as the old soul. He's still basking in the glow of not having to deal with his traitorous companions when he catches a glimpse of himself. Not in a puddle, not in a polished shield, but in a full-length, a mirror. He stares at the face of a young man, a complete stranger. He touches the unfamiliar skin, the bandages, the tired eyes that somehow still hold his soul. So you're me from now on. The body swap is complete. Why he kinda look like a... The reality of it all finally hits him. He stumbles back from the mirror, falling to his knees. I'm really back to Earth. And so begins the rediscovering modern civilization montage. First up, running water. He shoves his face under the faucet, absolutely losing his mind with joy. Water! Clean water! Uncontaminated water! This is real magic. To hell with all you mages. Take that, fantasy world plumbing. Next on the tour of modern miracles, the kitchen stove. He stares with wide, manic eyes as the flame ignites with a click. Fire with just a press of a button. No more of that damn wood chopping and campfires. The man's priorities are perfectly in order. But now, we come to the main event. He approaches a cardboard box with the reverence of a man opening the Ark of the Covenant. A heavenly smell wafts out. Yes, this is what I missed. What could it be? The lost sword of legend? A map to a golden city? No, it's better. This, don't tell me, this is chicken? He stares down at a box of glorious golden brown fried chicken. The true reward for saving a universe. He picks up a piece, his hands trembling. The holy drumstick is raised. Saliva drips from his mouth. This is it, the culmination of a 20-year journey. The first bite. He takes a bite. And the universe is complete. He throws his head back, clutching the chicken like a holy relic. It's so good. It brings tears to my eyes. Yes, this is what real food tastes like. Actual tears are streaming down his face now. Tears of pure, unadulterated, greasy joy. This stuff means something to me, man, he cries. All of this. Forget saving the world, this is salvation. After his religious experience with the fried chicken, he looks out the window at the modern city. He finally feels a sense of peace. Finally, I can live a normal life. But then he does a double take. He realizes it's 2025. First, I need to adapt to the Earth of now. What? It's already 2025? The 20 years he was gone passed in real time. But honestly, well, it doesn't matter. All without noticing how Invader Zim seems to be having a block party outside his window. However, while our boy is still basking in the joy of fried chicken, he still fails to notice the giant red beam outside. No matter how difficult and hard it is to adjust, it wouldn't be more horrifying than the other world. Sounds like some foreshadowing to me.
After 20 years of fighting in another world, our hero, Lee Hyun-suk, finally returns to Earth. And what's the first thing on his agenda? A nice, long shower. You gotta appreciate the simple things, like hot water that you don't have to boil over a demon's skull. And right after that, he blasts the AC. This man has his priorities absolutely straight. He looks out over the city, a clear, bright sky, this is the peace he fought for. It's nothing like that nasty, blood-soaked hellscape he just left. He's finally home. Or so he thinks. It's the year 2025. Hyun-suk's got big plans, like finally playing some StarCraft. But, it seems he brought some baggage back with him. You know, just a little bit of good old-fashioned PTSD. And by a little bit I mean full-blown monster in your living room, screaming in terror PTSD. He snaps out of it, heart pounding. It was just a memory, right? But before he can even catch his breath, a building-wide announcement kicks on. Well, that's not ominous at all. A corrosion rift has appeared. Lee Hyun-suk, our hero who has slain a demon king, has a very understandable question. What the hell is a corrosion rift? Residents are ordered to evacuate to the underground shelter immediately. Hyun-suk's peaceful retirement is going really, really well. And his PTSD was not kidding. Suddenly, his apartment is swarming with these creepy, multi-armed, masked things climbing down the elevator shaft. The creatures start breaking through the glass. So much for modern architecture. Hyun-suk does what any logical person would do when faced with a horde of shadow demons. He runs. He sprints down the hallway with the creatures hot on his heels, wondering just what in the world is going on. Yeah, that's the question of the day, isn't it? He makes a break for the stairwell, managing to slip through a window in the door. He takes a second to catch his breath, thinking he's finally lost them. Famous last words. Because he immediately runs into a new problem. This one's a bit smaller, though. It's a young boy with a bowl cut, just standing there. Meet Yoon-sung. Hyun-suk tries to warn him to get to the shelter, but the kid just has one question. Did you see where the monster went? The one chasing me? Because, you see, Yoon-sung isn't scared. He's on a mission. He looks this battle-hardened veteran in the eye and says, I'm gonna go kill it. Wanna come? Our hero's reaction is, and I quote, the hell did you just say? And here comes the bombshell. It turns out Earth has been like this, for 13 years. Our boy's been gone for 20. He missed a few updates. So, because this absolute gremlin of a child refused to go to the shelter, Hyun-suk, being the soft-hearted hero that he is, couldn't just leave him. And now he's stuck on a babysitting mission. The kid, Yoon-sung, starts dropping some much-needed exposition. A corrosion rift is an exit that monsters come out of. Nobody knows why or when they'll pop up. So it turns out that wasn't PTSD. And here we have the 5 stages of grief, speedrun edition. He went through living hell to come back to Earth, only to find out this place has also become a hellhole. You can really feel the "are you kidding me" energy as he curses the goddess who sent him back. But in the middle of his existential crisis, the kid asks the million-dollar question, how does he not know any of this? Hyun-suk, quick on his feet, comes up with the most classic excuse in the book. Oh, I was living in America for a while. Let's see how that holds up. Hyun-suk's "I was in America" excuse does not fly. Apparently, the kid keeps up with current events and informs him the US president got impeached for trying to secretly send his daughter to Korea. This kid is too smart for his own good. Hyun-suk, realizing he's been caught, quickly changes the subject. Anyway, that hunter you like? Who was it again? And the kid takes the bait instantly. His favorite hunter is Lee Seun. And we get a classic exposition dump from our resident fanboy. She's in the Janabi Guild, ranked 10th on Earth, uses a great sword, and he thinks he's successfully changed the subject. Cute. But Hyun-suk is stuck on one detail. Normal humans are fighting monsters now. Just like in the world he came from. He's trying to wrap his head around how that's even possible. The kid is still going on about how cool her great sword is, but Hyun-suk is having a moment of profound realization. Just as the kid is about to become a walking YouTube ad, Hyun-suk claps a hand over his mouth. He should have said subscribe to Manhwa Master. He peeks around the corner, eyes narrowed. The kid has no idea what's going on, but Hyun-suk's hero's senses are tingling. And there's the problem. Not one, not two, but a whole welcome party of those masked creeps, just crawling around. But our hero isn't fazed. He immediately starts doing tactical math. 5 in plain sight, and 1 hiding. Total of 6 enemies. The man still got it. He takes stock of his current body. Thankfully, it's got some decent strength, and he's used to fighting crowds. This shouldn't be a problem, but what is he supposed to do with the kid? All that "I'm gonna kill it" energy from earlier has mysteriously vanished, replaced by tears. Kids, am I right? And on top of that, he's got no weapon. But then he stops. He feels something, a strange, familiar energy flowing in the air. He looks down at the monsters, bathed in a blue aura. Could it be? Is this stuff in the air mana? On Earth? He's sure of it. It's the same energy he saw in the other world. And if that's the case, then the game has just changed. One of the monsters never sees it coming. A flicker of purple energy, and its head just pops. A strange fire erupts on another monster as Hyunsuk makes his first move. The mana he built up for 20 years might be gone, but if there's mana in the air here, he can use it. He holds the kid back as he prepares to get to work. That means he can still use the skill engraved on his very soul, the Paradox Flame. The firepower is a little disappointing, he notes. But it should be more than enough to turn these things into modern art. The kid can only watch in awe. Yoon-sung is floored. He went from skeptic to true believer. His mister has a unique skill. Hyunsuk just awkwardly pats him on the head, glad the kid's not hurt. But then, the kid, citing the official Hunter Academy YouTube channel, declares that confirming the kill is important. And he starts running toward the smoldering piles of ash. Wait, kid, no. Hyunsuk knows something the Hunter Academy YouTube channel doesn't. The flames of the Paradox Flame aren't your average campfire. He screams at the kid, "Don't go out until the target is dead." And right on cue, a monster begins to reform from the very ashes Yoon-sung was running towards. And Yoon-sung gets a horrifyingly close look at what confirming the kill really means when you're dealing with the Paradox Flame. Hyunsuk snatches him back just as a bloody hand erupts from the smoldering corpse. He tells the terrified kid, "I don't know what YouTube is, but my flames have a tendency to leave things a little undercooked." With the zombie monster reforming behind him, Hyunsuk calmly tells the terrified kid, "You should probably stop watching that. Best life advice I've heard all day." Then he asks, "Can I borrow that staff you're holding?" The kid is just trying to process the fact that he almost became Monster Chow. Yoon-sung hands over his trusty stick, and Hyunsuk gets ready for round 2. This time, with a proper, pathetic, weapon. And even with just a stick, he absolutely cleans house. It's a whirlwind of strikes and monster parts. The kid is just, absolutely starstruck. After the dust settles, Hyunsuk is left panting in a pool of blood. The kid, completely hyped, asks if he's secretly a hunter. Our hero's response? Huh, seriously? The man is tired. This was not in the retirement plan. To think he'd have to smell the stench of blood again, even after coming back to Earth, it's just not fair. He went through 20 years of hell hoping to finally rest, but if this is what Earth is like now, it's no different from the world he just escaped. They finally make it down to the underground shelter. It's crowded, but it seems safe. For now. Hyunsuk looks at the kids running around and mutters, "So instead of grade schoolers, they're called little brats now?" And Yoon-sung immediately gets offended on behalf of his entire generation. Suddenly, a woman appears, frantically calling Yoon-sung's name. It's his mother. She thanks Hyunsuk profusely for bringing her reckless son back. Our hero, a man who has fought demon kings, is completely out of his element with parental gratitude. But his keen eyes don't miss the details. Designer clothes, luxury earrings. Ah. So the loudmouthed brat is a rich young master. That explains it. Just as he's connecting the dots, a massive tremor shakes the entire shelter. Hyunsuk's expression says it all. That's not good. A gigantic fist appears outside the shelter's reinforced wall. And punches right through it like it's made of paper. The crowd is sent flying. And we get a lovely close-up of the monster responsible. That is one big mouth. The outer wall of the shelter collapses, and absolute panic ensues. The safe zone is officially not safe. Even Yoon-sung knows they're in deep trouble now. He grabs Hyun-suk, shouting that they have to run. But Hyun-suk is just broken. This is his breaking point. He wasn't asking for much. He just wanted to return to the world he knew, to the home he missed so dearly. That's all he wanted. He looks at his battle-scarred hand, the price he paid for his reward. Did I ask for too much? Ignoring the chaos, he turns to the kid, who's being pulled away by his mom. Hey, brat. He asks him point blank. You're rich, aren't you? Why are you trying to become a hunter? You don't have to fight. You can just live comfortably somewhere safe. And the kid's answer stops him cold. With a dead serious expression, Yoon-sung says, I lost my dad to a monster. He explains that a corrosion rift opened up in the underground bunker they thought was safe. It was then he realized, there is no safe place on Earth. And that's why, even though he's not strong yet and monsters are still scary, he's going to become the strongest hunter and get rid of all the rifts. And save the world. This little kid, in the middle of all this chaos, makes the biggest declaration of his life. And it hits our cynical, world-weary hero right in the feels. And something in Hyun-suk just clicks. He smiles, a genuine smile, and tells the kid, no. You'll become a great hunter. Then comes the gut punch. It's just, you won't be able to save the world. As his mom tries to drag him away to safety, Yoon-sung is still trying to talk to the Mr. who just crushed his dreams. But he's stopped short by the sudden change in Hyun-suk's demeanor. The aura of a true hero, dormant for so long, begins to leak out. Yoon-sung can only call out his name as he's pulled away. Why won't Yoon-sung be able to save the world? Our hero gives his silent answer. Because I'm going to do it. The kid is left completely stunned. Saving the world is a job for someone who's done it before. And that is how you accept your destiny. So, with the fate of humanity resting on his shoulders, he's doing absolutely nothing. Yoo Chan-suk is busy grinding in a video game. Priorities. And after all that intense, world-saving focus, he wins his little game. His official statement on the victory? Too easy. Yeah, I'm sure that was a real nail-biter after fighting demon kings for 2 decades. He has a brief moment of introspection, remembering his own heroic words, but that feeling of responsibility didn't last long. I mean, can you blame him? Earth has video games, snacks, and a system where you can get anything with one touch. Besides, Earth already has hunters to do the whole world-saving thing, so maybe he'll just order some delivery. He goes to order that life-changing meal and, oh. It seems our hero has been defeated by his one true arch-nemesis. A negative bank balance. Turns out, the original Yoo Chan-suk, whose body our guy is borrowing, lost his job when his company went bankrupt. And now, that severance pay has officially run out. So now that the money's gone, he has to face the grim reality that there's no way he can get a normal job. Why, you ask? Oh, just because the world is constantly being invaded by corrosion rifts, causing most companies to go out of business. Minor inconvenience. But just as despair sets in, a notification pops up on his phone. Hunter recruitment. Well now, isn't that convenient? A smirk creeps across his face. I do have experience in this line of work. That's the understatement of the century. And so, he's off to the Hunter Association. He arrives at the selection test, and the place is packed with wannabe heroes who are just a little too excited. The guys who've actually seen some action, however, are not impressed. One of the more seasoned-looking guys scoffs that the selection test is just a formality these days. Apparently, you just need a unique skill and you're in. Another guy with a stitched eyebrow scans the crowd of newbies, and dismisses them all as a bunch of small fries. Suddenly, a woman with long, flowing black hair walks by, and the rookies wonder if they're about to get famous. One of the guys who was just acting tough a second ago, looks like he's seen a ghost. And he starts freaking out. It's Lee Seun. And there she is. The world's 10th ranked hunter, Lee Se-eun, of the Janabi Guild. She carries a pipe and an aura that says, "I am not here to play." The crowd is losing their minds. She was supposed to be at Chorwon subduing a rift. Her being here means the Janabi Guild is scouting someone personally. So the big question is, who could they be here for? The camera then conveniently shows us the profile for a Hunter Academy graduate named Han Sang-ah, an electrokinesis user. One of Lee Se-eun's men thinks Han Sang-ah sounds useful, but she remains unconvinced, giving a non-committal, maybe, maybe not. A thought that someone else nearby seems to share. Because just then, a man with glasses starts shouting that academy training is nothing compared to real combat in a corrosion rift. He's not wrong, but, dude, inside voice. The guy with the glasses is still on his rant, and Lee Se-eun seems to agree with him, condescendingly offering him candy for being so smart. He is very happy to receive it. He's not wrong, though. Practice and real combat are two totally different things. It's hard for academy students to handle the real deal, and it'll probably take Han Sang-ah some time to adapt. Lee Se-eun seems to be wondering if it's okay for her to be away from her post for a whole week, but her thoughts are cut short by the announcer. The first match is about to begin. But she has a job to do, and a smirk plays on her lips as she thinks. Raise your value enough to make me want to take you. The challenge has been set. The announcer seems intrigued by the first candidate, probably because he doesn't recognize him. He checks his notes and realizes, the guy's a civilian. He's not even from the Hunter Academy. This is completely unprecedented. A regular person, just walking in off the street to become a hunter? What kind of guts does someone like that have to stand on this stage? The spotlight shines on our hero. And the announcer introduces candidate Yu Chan-suk. Chan-suk, meanwhile, is still not used to the new name. The rules are simple, no outside weapons are allowed, and inflicting life-threatening injuries is prohibited. With that, our two contestants are ready. Chan-suk steels himself. Since he's decided to be a hunter, his first job is to save this world, which seems destined to fall. But at the same time, he's gotta live well and eat well. His opponent, a cocky-looking blonde kid with a spear, just finds his presence unbelievable. And to achieve all that, he needs to get good results in this tournament. The announcer gives the final call, both candidates, to your positions. Fight. The Spearmaster immediately lunges forward, his weapon glowing with fire. He laughs, mocking Chan-suk for not being able to gather any mana. He tells Chan-suk to consider it an honor to lose to him. Our boy, however, remains completely unfazed. The Spearmaster unleashes his fiery attack, declaring his title as the undefeated Spearmaster of the Hunter Academy. And Yu Chan-suk's grand response to this ultimate, fiery technique is, a little sidestep. The Spearmaster is stunned. The attack misses completely, and he has no idea where his opponent went. The cocky Spearmaster looks around, completely bewildered. He vanished. Hey! A voice appears right beside him. You're pretty clumsy with that spear. Before the kid can even react, Chan-suk delivers a single, precise blow right to the solar plexus. The Spearmaster's eyes go wide as the force travels through his body, a perfect little shockwave of humiliation. And just like that, his eyes roll back into his head. Lights out. The undefeated Spearmaster was defeated. In one hit. Chan-suk is actually surprised that it's over already. He even pats the guy on the back, muttering that he used his bare hands because he thought a spear would hurt him too badly. He's genuinely shocked at how weak his opponent was, and starts to wonder if this is really the average level for hunters. From the stands, Lee Se-eun is speechless. What's with that guy? Her subordinate whispers that according to his file, Chan-suk's previous job was at a logistics company, and that he has almost no mana in his body. The guy keeps rambling, trying to rationalize what he just saw. He figures it must be pure luck, because generating that much power without mana should be impossible. Lee Se-eun wordlessly offers him a piece of candy. He gets the message, she's telling him to shut up. But her eyes are fixed on Chan-suk as she comes to a different conclusion. No. That guy is intentionally not accumulating mana. Her subordinate can't believe it. How is that even possible? Down on the stage, Chansuk cracks his neck, deciding to end this decisively. The Spearmaster somehow stumbles to his feet, absolutely terrified. Chansuk walks towards him. "Don't worry," Chansuk says, his face devoid of any emotion. "It won't be a fatal wound." That is, not very reassuring. The Spearmaster can only look on in horror. And that's the last thing he sees before his lights go out for good this time. Beep. The winner is candidate Yu Chansuk. The other guild members watching from the stands are absolutely stunned into silence. But while the others are busy being confused, Lee Se-eun decides it's time to make her move. She wants to see his real skills. She gets up to leave, and one of her men asks where she's going. Her reply? "I need to go see the association president." Oh, it's like that. Meanwhile, Chansuk continues his climb through the tournament, and he is bored. He thinks to himself that even for rookies, these guys are just too weak. No matter how many matches he fights, everyone who comes out is about the same level of unimpressive. He starts to seriously question their education. What on earth do they teach at this Hunter Academy? He looks genuinely disappointed. Out of this entire crop of aspiring heroes, isn't there a single decent one? But then, he hears a new set of footsteps entering the arena. The guys in the stands notice the next challenger. Ooh, she's pretty. Their interest is suddenly piqued. The announcer introduces the grand finale match. It's candidate Han Sang-ah. Will she be the one to finally stop the march of this mysterious super rookie? Chansuk sizes up his new opponent, and for the first time today, he seems a little bit interested. Oh, you're at least the one who's gathered the most mana out of everyone I've seen today. Han Sang-ah just scoffs, unimpressed. Han Sang-ah starts with some classic trash talk, saying he got this far by luck and there will be no more flukes. Chansuk, completely unfazed, just asks, is that generic line also something they teach at the Hunter Academy? Savage. She grips her sword, assuming that since he's just throwing punches, he must not have a unique skill. Her eyes begin to glow with power. But that doesn't mean I'll go easy on you. Chansuk just looks confused. Well, thanks. And then he drops this gem, I have a unique skill, but I'm not using it because I think you'll get hurt if I do. The sheer, unadulterated audacity. She's stunned into silence by his arrogance. The judge takes his position. Ready. Fight. Han Sang-ah doesn't waste a second, lunging forward with a swirl of electrical energy. She unleashes her signature move, a massive blast of lightning fired directly from her sword. She watches, expecting her attack to land, but her eyes go wide with shock. Because Yu Chansuk's brilliant, high-level countermaneuver was to simply jump. She is absolutely dumbfounded. He dodged it? He dodged lightning by just jumping? Chansuk, meanwhile, is casually analyzing her entire technique mid-air. Interesting. By running a current through the scabbard and blade, she turned them magnetic, basically making a railgun. He lands gracefully and begins his lecture. Yeah, your skills are definitely the best so far, but you missed the most important thing. What? She asks, confused. He explains she was too focused on just attacking quickly, instead of thinking about when to attack. He breaks it down for her. Her mistake was creating a visible magnetic rail in the air to guide the attack. And then he delivers the final verbal blow. No matter how fast and powerful it is, what kind of idiot would take an attack with a path that's in plain sight? Oh, she is mad. Don't get cocky, she seethes. She completely loses her cool, screaming that she can beat him even without her special technique and charges forward. Chansuk dodges her clumsy slash with ease. Are you an idiot? I dodged your fastest attack, so there's no way I'd get hit by this. She gets even more furious, unleashing a wild flurry of unfocused electrical strikes. It's a complete mess of chaotic energy. Chansuk calmly weaves through the storm, noting that she's forcing out her mana. She's overdoing it. If she keeps this up, her body's going to get wrecked. He decides it's time to end her little tantrum. That was cool, but let's stop here. He closes the distance in an instant, leaving her shocked. He leans in with a terrifyingly calm smile. If it hurts, raise your left hand. And then he unleashes a barrage of precise, lightning-fast strikes, completely overwhelming her guard. It's over in a second. She's left broken, battered, and utterly defeated. Absolute domination. He lands another solid hit. And her eyes roll back. She is out. She collapses to the floor, completely knocked out. The medics have to come in and carry her away on a stretcher. The guild members in the crowd are in disbelief. He completely overwhelmed Han Sang-a, the top student of the academy. Where did a guy like that come from? Chansuk rolls his shoulder, thinking to himself. She was definitely more skilled than the other guys, but to go down from just that, she must have relied too much on mana and neglected her physical training. He turns to leave, but then stops. No way, is she up for more? A single, trembling hand is raised into the air. Chansuk is genuinely baffled. I told her to raise it, and she really did. The announcer declares that by special permission from the association president, a special match has been arranged. Chansuk hears the crowd go wild. The opponent's name is on the monitor, and judging by their reaction, it must be a pretty skilled hunter. He puts 2 and 2 together. A special match. Did she step up herself to test my abilities? He smirks. Things like this are the same no matter what world you're in. A massive greatsword slams into the arena floor right in front of him. Your name is Yu Chansuk, right? The voice apologizes for the sudden intrusion, saying there was no other way to confirm his skills. And there she is, in all her glory. I'm Lee Seun of the Janabi Guild. She gives him a challenging smirk. It seems the stage has been too small for you until now. How about a match with me, Yu Chansuk? Chansuk's mind races. He knows who she is. Lee Seun, ranked 10th in the world. He feels the sheer aura coming from her. It's no bluff, she's a real pro. He knows that in his current body, this will be a tough fight, even if he had a spear. He accepts instantly. Alright. Let's do it now. The announcer nearly has a heart attack. Alright now, you mean? Lee Seun is pleased. You're fired up, aren't you? Chansuk sees his opportunity. This is his chance to get the best results possible. Lee Seun is the perfect opponent for that. He picks up a spear from the arena floor, a dangerous grin spreading across his face. He's done playing around. The time for holding back is over. Let's see, shall I raise my value? Our guy's opponent, Lee Seun, is coming in hot with a big ol' swing. But our hero, Yu Chansuk, manages to get a block in. He's holding on for dear life, you can just feel the impact. And he's thinking to himself. How can a woman's body have this much power? Which, you know, is not a great question to ask when said woman is actively trying to turn you into paste. She presses the attack, and you can see Chansuk is barely holding on, his weapon bending under the strain. And there he goes, yeeted across the entire arena. But even as she's styling on him, Seun notices, her own speed has dropped. She's actually getting tired from this. Meanwhile, Chansuk is having a classic anime protagonist moment. He can see the openings, but his body just can't keep up. A classic case of the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak and spongy. Seun gives him the villain monologue. She was hoping for a warm-up, but he's tired already. Ouch. She thought he'd last 5 minutes, but he held out for 30. So, she decides she'll make it easy for him, by swinging a sword that's bigger than he is. That's nice of her. Chansuk checks his pockets and realizes, he's got no mana. And the air is pretty thin on it, too. He's running on empty. As she comes flying in for the kill, he grits his teeth. He didn't want to use it, but it looks like he has to. And what is it, you ask? Oh, just a little something called Paradox Flame. He slides out of the way just in the nick of time, Seun's attack completely shattering the ground where he just was. She looks back at the crater she made, a little confused. Her internal monologue is basically, how? She was sure he shouldn't have been able to dodge that. And that's when she sees it. Chansuk is covered in this weird, dark, flaming aura. And she asks the question on everyone's mind, what is that? He just coolly replies. Paradox flame. And now it's time for the mid-fight exposition. He explains that this was his go-to specialty back in his old world, the power he trusts the most. He points out that his clothes are fine, because unlike normal flames, this black flame doesn't burn matter. Instead, it burns abstract concepts. Yeah, you heard me. He can literally burn ideas. With his current output though, he can't burn big concepts like self or memory. So what's he gonna burn right now? He takes a step. Seun is already on guard, noticing that he's suddenly gotten faster. The concept he chooses to burn is fatigue. Seun is completely stunned. You recovered in that short a time? Yeah. He literally just set the concept of being tired on fire. Keep up. And with his energy restored, Chansuk closes the distance in an instant, ready to turn the tables, but the real trick isn't just that he's not tired anymore. But as he closes in, Seun starts putting the pieces together. She notices the mana in the air is fluctuating wildly, and since the arena settings haven't changed, she realizes, he must be generating it himself. And here comes the rest of the exposition. Just like regular fire makes heat, the paradox flame releases mana when it burns those abstract concepts. So, he uses a little bit of mana to light the flame, which then burns his fatigue, to generate more mana. In other words, it's a perpetual motion machine for his soul. An endless cycle. And that means his specialty is a straight-up battle of attrition. He's literally weaponized the concept of being too stubborn to lose. And so the battle rages on, the two of them clashing over and over again. Seun is starting to get a little fed up, asking him if he's just going to keep this up. His response is to just dig his heels in, like a barnacle on the hull of a ship. He confirms it with the most punchable grin I've ever seen. This is a war of attrition, and he can keep going all day. And then he asks, with maximum riz. By any chance, do you like guys who don't know when to quit? Her response is priceless, no. I absolutely hate them. But here's the catch, the fine print on his broken ability. Just like burning a tree leaves behind ash that can't be burned again, the paradox flame leaves behind a residue. If he burns a concept completely away, it's gone. He can't just burn fatigue forever. And then we get a time stamp. 4 hours and 17 minutes. This man has been fighting a top-ranked hunter for over 4 hours. And he has finally hit his limit. He collapses, totally spent, and begs for mercy. He forfeits. And the announcer makes it official, with Chansuk's forfeit, Lee Seun is the victor. But instead of a victory pose, Seun just pulls out a giant lollipop. Which seems to be a thing with her, because her men in black-looking associates are absolutely losing their minds over it. She offers it to him as a prize for his hard work, along with her business card. He takes a look. Lee Seun, a partner hunter for a place called Janabi LLC. She tells him to give her a call later to talk details. The trials conclude, but then the announcer says something weird. Winner Yu Chansuk, please come up to the stage to receive your award. Hold on, winner. Chansuk, meanwhile, is just happy to have his lollipop. Sometime later, he's checking out the new smartphone they gave him. It's got a digital hunter license and access to the whole hunter network. A real step up from the piece of paper he got back in his day. He's marveling at all the features when a voice calls out to him, identifying him as Hunter Yu Chansuk. He looks up to see this absolute mountain of a man, Yoon Song-hyun, who tells him he looks much better in person than on camera. Which is one way to start a conversation. Chansuk is, a little intimidated. He notes the guy is easily over 2 meters tall. After asking who he is, the giant offers him a business card. He reads the card, Yoon Song-hyun, a partner hunter from Taebeek LLC. The guy cuts right to the chase, he wants Chansuk to join his team. He lays on the charm, promising Chansuk will shine under his guidance. And Chansuk thinks, he seems sincere, but that smile is giving major stranger danger vibes. But just then, his phone rings. It's Lee Se-eun, calling at the perfect moment. He uses it as an out, telling the big guy he's got a prior engagement and needs some time to think. Smooth. Song-hyun lets out a big, booming laugh, acting like he wasn't expecting an answer right away. However, he claps a hand on Chan-suk's shoulder, and the friendly act starts to crack. And there's the sales pitch you were expecting. He leans in close and tells him to think it through properly. Real subtle, my guy. He walks off with a casual, see you around, leaving Chan-suk to process that thinly veiled threat. And Chan-suk's decision is made instantly. Yeah, he's definitely skipping Taebeek. Hard pass. He answers the phone. It's Se-eun, and he asks where he should go to meet her. She tells him to meet her at a cafe called The Hut, on the second floor of the Hunter Association building. She'll send him the location. And he arrives to find a cafe literally named The Hut. Creative. A very cheerful waitress welcomes him to the hut. And there's Lee Se-eun, waving him over. She's already got a ridiculously large ice cream sundae. He walks over, making a comment about the cafe's weird name, and she asks if something happened on his way over. He tells her about the encounter. One person tried to recruit me for a guild. A really huge guy. She knows exactly who he's talking about. She explains that because a big name like Yoon Song-hyun made an offer, all the other guilds wouldn't even dare try to compete. The gears start turning in Chan-suk's head. Doesn't that mean her guild, Janabi, is also out of the running? She just casually takes a bite of ice cream and says, huh? I have no intention of recruiting you. Which, of course, leaves him totally baffled. Instead, she suggests he try working as a freelancer, without joining any guild. Now he's interested. Se-eun figures that Song-hyun was probably going to offer him a junior position, which is the entry-level grunt work. Chan-suk, having zero context for any of this, asks what a junior or a partner even is. Se-eun realizes she's dealing with a total industry outsider. So, she breaks out the exposition charts. Guild hunter ranks are divided into 3 tiers, junior, senior, and partner. And here's the corporate org chart. Partner hunters are like, well, partners at a law firm. They lead their own teams, and the juniors and seniors are just salaried employees under them. She continues. Partners have shares in the guild, like stockholders. They get a cut of the net profits instead of a salary. Chan-suk immediately gets it, that sounds exactly like a law firm. And she confirms, yeah, the whole guild system was basically ripped off from corporate lawyers. And here's the important part, you don't have to grind your way up from the bottom. He understands perfectly. If he works as a freelancer and builds up his brand, the big guilds will eventually come scouting him for a cushy partner position. She says, exactly, and offers him another piece of candy. Chan-suk is starting to wonder what her deal is with the sweets. He points out the big, obvious problem with her plan. Without connections or a resume, he's not gonna get any decent mission requests. But Se-eun has a solution for that, too. She'll help him. Free of charge. He's still skeptical. He doesn't get why she's going to all this trouble for him. She lays out her master plan. She's playing the long game. When he's a famous, successful hunter, she just wants him to have a positive association with her guild, Janabi. Chan-suk correctly reads between the lines, she's putting him in her debt. With that, she slides a manila envelope across the table. His first job offer. The choice to accept is his. He opens it up. It's a mission request for a place called Jayadongdo Island, where a corrosion zone formed 2 years ago after a failed attempt to close a rift. But he's not there to take on the main rift. His job is just to patrol the island and clean up any smaller, additional rifts that might appear. He schemes the details. The mission starts in a month. He gets 5 million won up front, and another 15 million upon success. And he's not impressed. For a job where he could literally die, the pay isn't that great. She just gives him this smug little grin and says if he thinks the pay is unfair, he should get stronger and more famous. Then the money will just come to him. Ah, capitalism. She asks for his final answer. He opens his mouth to speak. And we cut to Seun in a car, on the phone with her boss, who's asking about the new guy she scouted. She fills him in. His name is Yoo Chan-suk. A civilian who cleared a weapons mandatory tournament with his bare hands. Her boss's response? Not bad. And Seun is personally offended by that. She claims she was basically spoon-feeding him openings, and he still lasted 4 whole hours against her. The boss asks if that's just because she was limiting her power, but she insists that as a 10-year veteran, she knows what she's doing. She goes on a whole monologue about how she's a battle-hardened pro who should have been able to toy with him, but the fight still went on for 4 hours. She ends by calling him a monster, the likes of which she'd never see again, even if she were reborn. As she says this, we see our destination, Jaedongdo Island. But as we see the island, one of her men in black in the front seat brings up a very good point. Didn't the Jaedongdo Island mission specifically request hunters with prior mission experience? Which our boy does not have. Oops. The boss on the phone echoes that sentiment. His skills are good, but can he really hang with a team of veteran hunters? But Seun just tells him not to worry. Because she already thought of that. She paired him up with someone reliable, another hunter named Han Sang-ah. Her boss, trusting her judgment, agrees to the plan. Then, the boss asks one last question: what does she think Chan-suk will be like, if he ever reaches her level? She gets this chilling little smile and says, you might not like to hear this, but, if Yoo Chan-suk reaches my level, he'll be able to take you down as well, boss.